Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. Hope you guys are doing fantastic. Check it out. I came across this for pretty much every motorcycle that I got. Talked to a bunch of friends about this. Actually, in the past, I have financed motorcycles, and again, I'm not a stranger to this. And I know some of you guys may be thinking, hey, should I finance a motorcycle or not? And that is a question that some people may have. You know, should I pay all this out of pocket, or maybe save for a year or something and not get myself into debt? And this is a topic that you got to be really careful, because you don't know people's situation. You really don't know. You don't know how much money people have. A lot of times what I have experienced is that I may say, well, you know, specifically on my main channel where I review gear, and I said things like, well, this backpack is too expensive. And people will be like, I could spend $100 in a backpack. And other people are like, whoa, you know, that's just too much money. So again, everybody has their own finances or financial situations to deal with. Everybody has their own money and all that. So this is a very particular to your condition right now. But one thing I'm going to tell you, and this is something that I want to share with some of you guys, is that if you buy something that is really expensive and you cannot afford, I guarantee you, you won't enjoy it. You really won't. What's going to happen is that you're going to spend time arguing, time maybe with, you know, your wife or something like that. You're going to have to work extra time to try to pay it off. You won't enjoy it. You really won't. It will be a nightmare. It really will be a nightmare, and you will be stressed, and you will have so many issues, because the simple fact that you didn't enjoy it. I mean, or you couldn't afford it, so you cannot enjoy it. A lot of times people say, you know what, the Lord blessed me with that new car. And I'm thinking to myself, no, he didn't. You blessed yourself with something you couldn't afford, and now you're having issues with that. So I hate to come up here and tell you to, okay, this is how you do it. But if I want to share some thoughts, some opinions about this, I think the first thing is to make sure that you can afford it. Really make sure that it's something you can afford. And the best thing to kind of deal with this, maybe take somebody that you love, somebody that, like I said, has skin in the game, somebody that will tell you, whoa, stop. Think about this and make sure that you can afford this motorcycle. Because again, you finance a $22,000 motorcycle that the salesman is going to tell you, whoa, it's so beautiful. It's amazing. Don't you want to ride on it? Of course it's beautiful. Of course it's amazing. Of course I want to ride it. But the question is, can I pay for it? So again, somebody that has skin in the game, to me, is something that I take in consideration. Now, the other thing that I will tell you is to check in your bank. Checking your bank to the best percent. Again, I'm not really saying that it's not a good idea or it's a bad idea. If you can afford to make a bike payment, that's great. That's amazing. That's why you work so hard. So now you got to do it in kind of like a smart way. Check with your bank. Sometimes your bank may give you a better credit rate, right? A better percentage for your loan. Maybe check with the motorcycle before you sign any papers in the dealer. Check that you're going to get the best deal before they run your credit. Because once they run your credit, you kind of attach to that, because you know you don't want your credit to be run multiple times, right? So again, make sure that you may get some information. Obviously, they can tell you until they run your credit, but try to go every avenue of approach, right? When I got my bike, I remember I financed this bike, and the lady was like, well, we have a promotion that is going to be around this percent. And that was good, because again, you know, it wasn't going to be any surprise. At the same time, don't be an idiot. I mean, I know you want to buy a bike, but if they're telling you $19.99 or 25%, listen, man, you can wait. Don't put yourself in a crazy payment with a crazy percent. Like, it's going to end up, instead of buying the bike for $7,000, you're going to finish paying for the bike $17,000. That's just stupid. Another thing that I would say is to check with the insurance. When I decided to buy a Road King, it was kind of like a Road King, a Road Glide. There was a couple other bikes, and I did call the insurance, and believe it or not, each bike is going to give you a different rating, obviously, right? So the Road Glide, it was way more expensive in the insurance than the Road King. I know some states you may not have insurance, or if you pay it off and things like that, but if you don't, keep that in mind, that the Road Glide may be more expensive, the Road King may be more expensive. So now, let's say you have $300 in the budget, right? That's what you want to spend, and that's it, no more than that. Well, if the Road Glide is going to be I don't know, $70 in insurance and $230 for payment. But maybe the Road King is $40 in insurance, so that makes you that you could go $260 in payment. So again, you may have a few $1,000s more, which may be the difference between an older bike. Maybe you want to go for a 2017, so you're looking at a 2015 because you already capping that money. But maybe, you know what, maybe you could go to a better bike in the Road King because the insurance is going to be cheaper. So obviously, check with the insurance. No doubt about that. So like I said, guys, I was thinking about this topic, and you know what? A lot of people say, oh, you shouldn't finance a bike, you should save the money. But the reality is that some bikes are really expensive. If you go into the Harley Davidsons, and if you go into a touring line, you're going to have to, majority of people are going to have to finance a bike because they're really expensive. And I think there is some stats out there that says maybe like 70% of the people or something like that finance bikes. It's just going to have to be done. They're really expensive. I think there is a smart way to do it. Obviously, check your finances. If you can afford it, that's great. Fantastic. I would say, like I say, check on the insurance, check on your bank to get the best percentage, check on the dealer as well. Maybe they could give you a better percentage, but take somebody that you love with you. Somebody that has skin in the game, somebody that will tell you, hey, look, man, you may want to take a step back and you may want to think about this. Somebody that is not afraid to call, hey, no, we ain't doing this, because that person is going to level you out. There may be a way that you may be like, wow, that bike is so pretty, so amazing, so looks so good, it's the perfect bike. But it's always good to have that guy next to you and be like, whoa, easy. Think about this. And maybe, you know what? Maybe it's a good idea to look at it, write it, go home, sat on it for a few days. Remember, there's many of them. It's not like they're going to run out of Road Kings. There's going to be another Road King there, or they could order one and stuff like that. So again, there's a good chance that you could just go home, chill, think about this before you make that decision. Another thing that I will mention, and specifically for me, is something that I always think about. A lot of times they try to lower your payment, but they give you a really long-term loan. Think about that long term. Think about what it means. Really do. Because I tell you, when I see 6 or 7 years, I think to myself, I got a 13-year-old boy, right? In 6 years, he's going to be 19. I may be wanting to help him out. I want to help him buy a car. I want to help him go to school and things like that. So can I afford that $500 now? Maybe I could afford $450 right now. But can I afford the $450 5 years from now? Maybe not. I mean, it's one of those things that you really can't predict the future. You don't know what's going to happen. I'm not going to live my life in the future. I want to live my life right now in the present. But at the same time, it's just something in the back of your mind that you could start thinking, all right, I'm going to sign up this lease for the next 4 or 5 years. What do I have going on in the next 4 years? Do I want to put my kids through private school a year from now? And private school is going to cost me $500 a month. Maybe, yes, for this year I can afford this, but next year maybe I can't do it. So it's just one of those things that you got to kind of keep in mind. Remember, a motorcycle should not be your first, really not your first means of transportation. It's just a really expensive toy. So you want to be able to have the right amount of money so you can enjoy that. There you have it, guys. I just wanted to give you a couple thoughts on financing a motorcycle. Let me know what you think. Put comments down below. And as always, God is in control.